what's the process of getting a veteran kicker going? Is it a pretty easy process to kind of give everybody acclimated just because he's been around for so long?
What's the question?
Getting McManus integrated, is it an easier situation just because he's been around so long? Or is it a process just because
It's still a process, but I think the thing that's a little bit different about having a guy that's played as long as he's played, he's very particular, knows exactly what he wants, and so that's a big help, certainly to the holder and the snapper. But it's been good work yesterday. It was good work again today. He'll kick again tomorrow. He kicked yesterday, and he kicked certainly in the workout the day before. So we'll expect him to be ready to go. I know he expects to be ready to go.
What do you like about him?
I mean, what's not to like? You know, he's got a lot of skins on the wall. He's been in a lot of pressure situations. He's had kicks in the Super Bowl. He's played in cold weather. He's played in hot weather. So he's had a lot of experiences kicking in a lot of different climates, in a lot of different places. And, you know, he's been successful for a long time. So we're glad we got him right now.
You think you'll get him in the stadium tomorrow or Saturday?
No, I don't think he doesn't feel like he needs to be in there. He's been in there before, and we have great grass here. So I think he's expecting to get his kicks again tomorrow like he did yesterday in our field, which is very similar to the game field in Lambeau.
Rich, when you heard that it was being done this week with Brandon coming, did you watch film on him, or did you just kind of wait till he got here to kind of start analyzing him and breaking him?
Well, I've played against him, you know, with the Raiders. We played against him twice a year for the 4 years I was there, and I'd played against him before, and I was in Dallas as well. So we've had a respectful relationship going over the last, you know, certainly last 7, 8 years. Going against him. So we really didn't have to watch film on him. We knew what he did last year because of what was going on, you know, prior in the offseason. A lot of guys became free agents. So we looked at a lot of people. We just kind of went off of the workout, you know, wanted to see if he'd been working out and what he'd look like because of the period of time that he'd been off. So we had a good workout.
he had a big leg back in his heyday? Do you have any gauge if he's still got that difference-making leg?
He does. I don't think he has a problem with the leg. He warmed up pretty good in the work before the workout and had a really good workout. It was indoors, but he endured the wind that we had yesterday, and so we'll see what tomorrow brings. But I still think he has plenty of leg.
Rich, with McDuffie playing more defense, what do you think of what Hopper has given you on some of your units?
Yeah, Hop's really, you know, he's starting to show up, especially on the kickoff team. He's made some plays now, and he's been taken care of a little bit because other guys have shown up earlier and started to get doubled, and he's been singled a little bit and made 3 really good plays last week. He was our player of the week last week. So, and he's really playing well on punt return. He had a good block on punt return on Keyshawn's return last week, which usually doesn't get seen. So he's on the come. You know, he's practicing really well. He's playing really well for us in games. Hopefully he just keeps improving.
I know Keyshawn didn't really have a choice, but is there some sort of punishment for being tackled by a punter?
Well, there's maybe a joke or two in the meeting room, you know, but the punter had good leverage on him. Actually did a heck of a job. He got up, you know, Kobe had a hell of a block on him, knocked him down, and he got up and got Keyshawn on the boundary. So hopefully we'll do a little bit better with it next time.
What did you think of just that return, though? I mean, I think that was the longest of his career to this point, being able to kind of break that there. And kind of
I thought the one in Detroit, maybe last year or 2 years ago, was a little bit longer. But, you know, he did a good job getting the edge for us, and I thought the guys up front did a really good job of changing the line of scrimmage, which forced them to be a little bit late getting out. I know our hold-up guys, Corey Ballantyne, did a heck of a job forcing the guy inside and giving him the edge. And then, you know, when he hit that next gear, I mean, he did a heck of a job going down the boundary. So hopefully some of those things will continue.
What's the trade-off with having Jaden Reed back there and then the potential for injury? I know you could get injured on any play, you know, in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we don't think about it injury-wise. They can get injury whatever they're doing, you know. The guys can get injured in practice, but they're both really capable. They're both really good. The decision-making process has been good for both of them. We like really Jay Reed at different times because he plays a lot of offense, and we like Keyshawn at different times because he's playing a lot of defense. So we feel fortunate to have them both, as well as some of those other guys that we work in practice.
Have you seen Keyshawn develop with his hands as he's gotten more opportunities to field punts over the past couple of years?
I think Keyshawn has tremendous eye-hand coordination. He's got great hands. I think where he's really matured is his decision-making process, you know, when to take it, when not to, when to fair catch, when not to, when to take it out, when not to take it out. I think some of those things can be developed over time as far as the decision-making process. But his ability to catch the ball, whether he's at receiver or whether he's playing in the return game or whether he's playing DB, he's got tremendous hands.
What are the generic rules you tell a guy like that who, I mean, I imagine you want him to get every return opportunity he can because he's so dynamic with the ball, but still being smart about it. What do you tell a guy like that?
Well, part of it is I don't tell him too much. I don't want to take away who he is, but also know what we're doing. Are we rushing? Is the return set up? Where are we on the field? Where are we in the game? What's the wind condition like? Is it going to be a deep one? Is it going to be short? Where do you line up? So I think there's a lot of things going into the process of whether you're going to actually take a shot at it or not. And those guys that are really good, both him and Jay Reed, they both peek. They're going to take a look outside and see if the flyer has been handled or if the guy is free to kind of help them with their decision-making process. So there's a little bit of a criteria as to when to do what, but sometimes you don't want to give them too much. You want to let them go out there and play ball.
Hey, Rich, going back to kicker, I'm curious, I was trying to go back through all your years in the NFL. Have there been many times where you've changed kickers during the course of the season? It looks like there were a few years where you had multiple kickers, but I don't know if that was performance-based or injury-based or what. Have you had to go through anything like this many times before?
The 3 years here has been a little unique, for me personally at that position. I can remember my first year in Tampa, we went through 3 snappers and all the way through the Super Bowl, 3 different snappers. I had never been through that in college. And now, we've kind of gone through the kicker rotation here, trying to get some younger guys and get some of them developed and put us in position to have one maybe for a long time. But now we're exactly where we are, and we'll deal with where we're at this particular time and see what we do going forward. But this has been unique, I'm sure, not only to me but to the organization, obviously having a kicker here for a long time.
And not specific to Brandon, but just the idea of having a veteran like, it's Anders had never kicked in the NFL before, and neither had Braden. So how different is your role when you have a guy who, like you were saying earlier, kind of has his established what he likes to do, et cetera?
Well, yeah, again, I think, to the earlier question, he's very particular. He's been through a lot of different situations. He knows how he wants the ball held. He knows where he wants it placed. He's really confident in his time. He's confident in his alignment. So it's been, to some degree, a breath of fresh air, to know someone that exactly knows what they want to do. And it's also a comfort a little bit to Daniel. Now he's got to get used to the hold and how he wants the ball and how he wants it leaned and those things. But so there's a lot more snaps being placed, by Daniel than there are kicks being made over the course of the last 3 days. So.
We always talk about kicker slings maybe a little bit like a golf swing. So he's basically been going to the driving range, right? He hasn't been kicking in games while he's been away for so long. Does it take a minute for him to get back into the regular swing of things, or don't you think that's necessary?
Well, he's obviously been kicking, and then that was the reason for the workout, to kind of see exactly where he was. And you're talking about someone that's got over 300 kicks, in the National Football League. So to some degree, he's kind of got the rhythm. He knows what it is. Now, it's incumbent on the 3 of us now, the snapper, the holder, and him, to kind of get enough good rhythm. So we're not slowed down the first time we kick or the first early times that we kick. So they've been at it pretty good without him kicking every one of them.
Have you found it takes time for the holder to get the ball exactly right, how the kicker wants it? I mean, Daniel had, like 4 or 5 kickers in camp that he had to adjust to. I mean, is it a quick adjustment, or can it take a little time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really think it's probably an advantage for Daniel to have been through all those different guys and hold it all these different ways. I mean, there's not an exorbitant amount of ways that the guy want it held. It has to do sometimes with the wind, if they want it in or out or front or back. So I think it's been a little bit of an advantage to be able to deal with all those different guys wanting it different ways, and for him to do a good job with it. So he's really worked hard at that particular craft, and I think he's also got great eye-hand coordination. Does a hell of a job for us this year.
Does his kickoff style help at all? Because I saw he's like a 2-3 step kicker. That's pretty different. Is that
yeah, he's always been a short approach guy, and because of the big leg that he has. So I think that's the thing. This is going to be his first time kicking off with the new rule. So we'll just see how that looks, come game day. But again, it's not an issue for him. His approach or his leg strength hasn't been an issue. So we'll see what it looks like on game day. These guys are going to hopefully give us some returns. I think they've given up 17 returns. I feel pretty good about their coverage unit because they should. It's really good.
In practice, do you test his distance like you would before a game, or do you just do that at the day of the game?
As far as field goals?
Yeah. Like how far can he he had from?
Yeah, I think he had a 9-play script away from the team yesterday with different distances, and then he had an 8-play team script with multiple pressure type situations, different distances and different kind of situations in games that we put him through yesterday. So he'll do that again tomorrow, and then he'll get his pregame set and be ready to play.
Hey, Rich, I was just looking at his numbers. So his percentage from 50+ is 54 and change. Is that what, as a coordinator who's done this a long time, what are you hoping for? What's realistic?
I think, did you look up his percentage 50 and in?
Yes, 94.
It's pretty good. So, we'll have to wait and see what he feels like, what the wind conditions are in his pregame. But usually you come out of those pregame sets, a guy has a pretty good indication going to his right or to his left, what the distance will be, depending on the weather on that day. So I think that's what we'll kind of wait for that. But again, the kicks that have to be made in the National Football League are inside the 50. And obviously we've had our issues with that, and hopefully he can continue to play as well as his stats say,